Hello, this little project will show you how you can switch between scenes and have a character move through them. Start with a new blank file, reset styles, reset all tools. Be sure you're on frame 0. We'll borrow 3 scenes from the library. Go up here to the upper right and click on the little book icon. In the folder for Factory Content Library, look for the folder called Scenes and click on the arrow. Look for the folder Backgrounds and click on that arrow. First, double-click on Cafe and click OK. You'll see that that was inserted into your Layers palette. Next, we need to find Forest 2. Look for this one, Forest 2, double-click, click OK. And the third will be the Meadow. Look for this one here, double-click, click OK. And then you can close the library. Each of these scenes has a lot of layers inside the folder for them. So click on the arrow next to the main folder for each scene to close them up so they look like that. We need to resize a couple of them. I'm going to zoom out so I can see this whole meadow here. And click over here on Transform Layer. And then just get that meadow sized up to fit a little better. And click on the eyeballs for meadow so that we can see Forest 2 here. Select Forest 2 in the layers. And that doesn't fit within our stage boundary, so try and resize that one so that it fits. Doesn't have to be perfect. Click on the eyeballs for Forest also so we can see about the cafe fits pretty good if you wanted to, let's see, it's hanging a little below there, but not much, it's pretty close. And the last thing we need is the purple monster character that you used in the first animation that you created at the beginning of the semester. So go to File, Import, Moho Object, and on your computer, find the purple monster that you used before, and click Open, and click OK. If for some reason you can't find the copy of the purple monster on your computer, you can always download another copy of it from the classroom. We need to move the purple monster off of the scene for now. Be sure that you're still on frame 0, and click on Transform Layer, and move him off. Now look up here in the settings for Transform Layer, and there's an icon for Flip Layer Horizontally. Click that, and he'll be facing in the other direction. And now go over here and click on the eyeballs for Meadow and Forest so that you can see them. And then if your purple monster isn't on the top of the layer stack, you need to drag him all the way up there. Don't let him get inserted into any of the other folders, okay? He needs to be above, just like you see here. We'll have him walking across the meadow first, so at frame 0, be sure you have him placed in a way where he's going to be able to walk across this grass. In the timeline, advance to frame 120, and then drag him off stage, fairly well off stage, not too far. So that's what he'll do first, is walk across this meadow, just like that. It's a little fast, but that's okay. Now go back to frame 120. In the Layers palette, double-click on Meadow, uncheck Visible, and click OK. Now the meadow scene is gone. Go to frame 121. So we've gone one frame past the end of his animation. In the Layers palette, click over on Purple Monster again. Be sure you have Transform Layer selected and drag him back over here, and now we're going to have him walk through the forest. So I have to horizontally scroll, and we want to go, let's see, I had 5 seconds worth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll have to add to this animation. But click over here on 240 right now, and then move him across and off stage there. And right now, let's add to this. Let's just make it be 1,000 right now and hit enter. So we'll have 1,000 total frames to work with just for the moment. And then if you want to go over to the timeline and click back before frame 120 and play that. So now he's walking through the forest. It is kind of fast, but that's okay. Now click on 240 here in the timeline. In the Layers palette, double-click on the Forest folder and uncheck Visible and click OK. So now the forest scene is gone. Go one more frame past 240, go to 241, click on the purple monster in the Layers, and now we're actually going to flip him. Go up here and click on Flip Layer horizontally, and we're going to size him. But before we do that, we have to go up here to Animation, Add Keyframe. If you get this message, you can click No, and we still need to add all those keyframes at 240 also. Go back to 240, click Animation, Add Keyframe, and choose No. Now in order to keep him walking again, we just need to get rid of these right here. If you look over here, you've got bone angle and bone translation. Well, his walking motion that keeps going is, of course, controlled by the bones. And so we're just going to take these right here and select them and push delete on your keyboard. Right? That way he'll still keep that walking motion. So now let's go to 241. Okay? And this way we'll be able to make changes to him without affecting him in the past. So I'm just going to make him a little bit bigger. Yeah, maybe the size of this door here. And then I need to move across horizontally on my timeline and then advance to frame 336 on the timeline and pull the purple monster into the middle of the scene. And then we'll have him stop walking. The way to do that is click on Bone, Freeze Visible Bones, and Bone, Reset All Bones. I might have done that kind of fast. It was Bone, Freeze Visible Bones, and then Reset All Bones. So you can test that little part. I'll click back here on the timeline and push play. Let's have a look at where the animation ends. So he stops on 336. Let's give it a couple more seconds. We're going to change the end of the animation to 384, something like that, maybe 390. I'll hit enter. And now let's render that out and see how the whole thing looks. File, Export Animation. So of course I paused while I was rendering, but you should have something that ended up looking like this. He just walks through this scene. Scene changes. He's still coming through. And then finally he ends up in town at the cafe. And he stops walking. So that's how to change scenes for future animations. And you can take your rendered MP4 video, upload it to YouTube, and then share that link with me in the classroom assignment area.